Hey y'all, my name is Samah Ali and I'm one of the Associate Shorts Programmers for Doc NYC. I am pleased to lead the Q&A for Doc NYCU's School of Visual Arts Shorts program for this year's festival. We have many directors joining us virtually today. I'll ask everyone to now introduce themselves as well as the film that they directed. Rohan, let's start with you.
Hi, this is Rohan, and I directed Facility of Violence. Yeah.
Welcome. Who else wants to join in? Peipei, let's start with you. Let's go on with you.
Okay, hello, this is Peipei, and I'm the director of My Little Ones.
Zooey?
Hello everyone. So I make a film. It's called Busker. I hope you guys like it.
Okay. Alice?
Hi, I'm Alice, and I come from SV Sakta. I direct Morning Dr. Liu Liang. Thank you.
Thank you. Cathy?
Hi, I'm Cathy. I'm the director of the personal film To Lay Bare.
Welcome, welcome. Yijia?
Hi everyone, I'm the director of the short funny film But.
And finally, Hansen.
Hi everyone. I'm Hansen and also the director of What Is in Chinatown.
Thank you all for being here. Such eclectic films, so well done. I wanted to start with you, Hansen, and then everybody can join in. What was the inspiration for your film?
Well, actually, this is our first school project in the first year. I just luckily got the location in Chinatown, which is my hometown. I'm from China, apparently. So I just went there and I just shoot around the neighborhoods. And I find it so interesting that when I got there, I just find that it's totally different. That I have seen the Chinatown in like different cities. For example, like in Boston or in like California, things like that. I think Manhattan's Chinatown has itself like features. So yeah.
That's really interesting. Can you elaborate more on those features that you thought were more specific to New York compared to the other Chinatowns you've been to?
Well, I would say like most of people are from my hometown in Fujian province, which in China. So they speak the dialect they speak. I can understand them, and the way they make the bargain or the way they make the business, I feel like it's so familiar with that because this is what I seen in China, and this is how the people live in China. So when I got there and I find a group of people who are so connected to, then and it's not in China, but it's in Manhattan. So I feel really surprised. And additionally, I feel like the lifestyle they have, it has impact by American style. I mean, like it combined with not just Chinese style, but also has the like American like concept of how to live in the like a free city and you can do what you want here, things like that.
That's so cool. And I think that's especially, being so far from home and then also having people who are constantly bartering the same way that you're familiar with and their dialect is similar. That's like home just came to you in the new city.
Exactly, yes.
Really cool. Cathy, what inspired you to create your film?
So apparently I was a freelance photographer 6 years to doing the so-called film photography. But the main reason why I want to make a film about it is because I realized how much stereotype and misunderstanding people have over those kind of photography. And also more is about actually girls are really enjoy how the way they look through this kind of photography, but it's just really hard for make other people to understand why they want to do such thing. So I basically just want to make this film to explain my own personal experience with it, and also just want to kind of to make people understand so-called girl power or whatever that actually empower women and girls more through the photography and through this film.
I really like that, and I definitely felt that in your film. So congratulations, really well done.
Thank you.
Zooey, talk to us about what inspired Busker.
Yeah, so like I think a lot of people they don't know like what buskers means. So busker is like street performers. So like I really like those street performers in New York City. So like I found this guy, his name like is like subject of my film. So his name is Robert Leslie, and he's from Amsterdam. So like he's been here like for 8 years, but he's only like singing in the park or like performing in the subway like for 8 years, and he doesn't want to do any jobs. He just want like making living by singing every day. So I found like his story is like kind of amazing to me. So and also like I'm always like attracted by like a lot of like talented people in the street. So I reached out to him and I want to tell his story. And also like he's half deaf, so he can't hear like in his right ear. So but like he still like wants to show people, to prove people. So like I think that is a good story. And also like after, even though like because like the coronavirus, so they couldn't go out to perform. So I made this film before shutdown. So I think a lot of people they miss like those talented people they saw every day before in subway and in the park. So I think like people would love it, would love to see it.
I definitely was thinking about that while I was watching your film too. Like, you know, where are folks now? So what's Robert doing today? Obviously, is he back on the road doing buskering? What's been the pandemic like for him?
So he took a break like for 4 months. So he went back to Washington Square Park last month and performing every day like in safe distance. But he went back to Amsterdam like for like a runaway trip with his girlfriend. Yeah, but he will come back like, but it's next year.
That makes sense. And hopefully by then we'll see him back on the road buskering.
Yeah. You can find him in Washington Square Park.
But that's his place.
That's his spot.
Cool. Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yijia, tell us about butts.
But this was made during the city's was lockdown, and it just archival assignment for us to practice how to use the archives and how to write narrations. And at the very beginning, I just want to explore the question why people like those cute little butts. But when I was collecting all the archives, I saw the piece of news that one man slapped on the reporter's butt and really annoyed me. Then at that moment, I know where my story would land, and that's my inspiration for this one.
Love it. And that moment too was definitely the outlier throughout the entire film. So I definitely see why that was such an inspiration for you. Peipei, talk to us about My Little Ones. Definitely probably the most unique film that I've seen on this lineup.
So it happened to me that a friend of my friend is a taxidermist. I've never met a taxidermist before in my life, and after we had a few talks, I find that what she does is really interesting and just visually very strong. But I didn't really expect that much ethic and philosophical thoughts of an artist that has been dealing with dead animals. And I really think that I really want the film to deliver how an artist who has been dealing with dead animals, and then how her philosophical concerns through her art. And yeah, that's pretty much it, I think.
Definitely. I thought it was, when it was coming on screen, I was like, oh. And I liked how you made it like wasn't something that we learned immediately. It was after the fact that we found out that she's a taxidermist. And with the lower thirds and everything, I was like, oh, like, and it became so interesting from there. Thank you for sharing the story with us. It's really interesting. Rohan, talk to us about the inspiration for your film.
Well, so um, it started with it just being sort of an exercise where I could explore a concept that has multiple sort of, it plays with your senses because it has like wonderful like sounds and sights and touch and the smell. So it was all sort of an all-in-one process, and the inspiration started coming, I'd say, once I did one or two shoots with him. Um, that's when I actually started getting into the whole thing. And I'd say the inspiration sort of evolved as the film as I started doing more and more shoots and sort of understood why he does what he does, and his passion behind it sort of helped my um, passion to make this particular film. So it was like a very interesting process because I don't really have anything to do with violins. I don't know how to play it. But I think just like looking at his work and looking at him making an instrument, that sort of really inspired me to go ahead.
Yes. It was really cool too to see the cinematography that you approached the work as well, the details, and I felt like I was in the room, like having that sensorial experience. Really, really cool.
Thank you.
Alice, last but not least, talk to us about not only the inspiration for this film, but then also the importance of depicting the story of the character.
Oh, actually, I know about the message of this morning meeting from WeChat. And I will also feel very sorry about Dr. Diwen Liang about his passing. And as we all know, he's one of the most famous whistleblower of the coronavirus. So I borrowed my FS5 and went to Central Park to document this whole morning meeting. About the character, actually, I hope you, after you watch my film, you notice the guy who is wearing the glasses and masks. He is kind of the most important character I want to build and I want to show. Actually, I just want to document this whole morning meeting, and it happens. It just, things went to something like under control, I can say. And also, like after a month, when I shoot this film, the first coronavirus showed in New York City. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it was very much ahead of the wave, especially seeing the timestamp of it being in February of this year. And then within a month, everything was shut down. So it's definitely quite eye-opening to see not only the fact that we were tuned in so early and there was something that was already happening to mourn the doctor's life, but then also for everybody in North America to kind of catch up in a month later. It really shows how out of touch everybody else was, really. And, this is kind of bringing me to my second question for all of you, actually, is, what was it like working with your characters and potentially where you found it challenging? Hansen, I kind of want to start with you because your character is the dynamic Chinatown. And so there's multiple characters within your stories while you're also documenting this place. That is the character.
Well, it was very interesting that well, definitely when I got there and I met people there and I talked to them and trying to find what is new or what is interesting in the Chinatown. So when I talk with them, I just feel like after living in here for so many years, they're missing home and they want to create a place like hometown. So that's the reason why they move everything. Like they have China nuts. They have so many like Chinese style stuff in a Chinatown, which makes them feel like home. So that's from the conversation I have with them. I just trying to capture it on the street and in the store and to find out their story. Yeah, that's kind of my experience with my characters.
Really cool. Yijia, why don't you talk to us about the multiple characters that you included in Butts, and also, why you included each one?
How to identify those multiple characters? They are all Butts. I can talk about the difficulty when I were making this film. It's really difficult to make the film funny, or it also can be erotic. So I just find a lot of character from the animation to make it more funny, and I also put Tom Cruise butts in it to arouse more attention. And yeah, then we can to the female reporter to key the point for this film.
Yeah, I thought it was quite smart, the various different elements of Butts and what we're seeing, and that, the climax of, what inspired this film. So I thought everything of the actually building it up was really well done. And also, I definitely hear you, quite humorous on the erotic side. And I think that's also just the nature of your character. All right, Cathy, why don't you talk to us about, why you chose to get those characters into your film, especially because it's a very intimate space and you're also, making this something that's a little bit more accessible to folks.
So I think for me, when you talk about character, I was thinking about, am I the character or my photographers are the character? So when I was doing it, I think the most difficult part was really dealing with myself, because it's a confession from myself. And it's also, when I was making the film, I'm also processed with all the things that are coming back to me. So I think that was the hardest part, to deal with me as a character. But also at the same time, I want the whole film to show the character, or to show the personality of my photography. So throughout the whole thing, I was trying to control the lighting, the color, and everything to actually make everyone not only seeing the photos, but feel not only seeing the photography, but also feel the photography throughout my film, from the beginning to the end. So even at the very end, what I did was I tried to, it was myself at the end, but I was trying to kind of make the whole point back to myself and make the photography live and make it in a video form, so people see me in my own form of photography. So that was my point. But that was just a little bit hard when I was trying to make people understand it, because it's really abstract. It's not something I can take it out and put in front. So that was the hardest part for me.
I think including those shots, like of the actual live video and the photography, made it very apparent about not only is are you the subject, but also the photograph's the subject, photography is the subject.
Yeah, for sure.
I think you communicated it really well.
Thank you so much.
Peipei, let's talk about the multiple little characters in your film.
So the most challenging part for me during the production is that I'm a one-person band, so I didn't really bring any sound person or lighting person with me. But there are pros and cons. I definitely feel like I gained more or developed a more closer, a more intimate relationship with my subject, and I think that's something I can't really get, or it might take longer if I'm working in a crew. And also, my subject is really collaborative, and she really trusts me that I'm not gonna be someone who's gonna deliver her as some strange, bizarre woman living with a bunch of dead animals. And she, oh, and the reason I found her pets as also subjects is that through their interactions, you can really see that how, you know, the little sadness behind the happiness that they're having. And you can see that she only sees taxidermy as a tangible memory. There's no spirit in it after she knows all of this, you know, techniques and how little the animal has left after the taxidermy. And it's, I would say this film is a little bit sad, but at the same time, it's very rational because she realized a lot of things that others might not have.
Totally, especially when she was talking about her cat and whether it was going to be worth it for her. Yeah, a lot of things to think about in My Little Ones, for sure. Zooey, why don't you talk to us about your character in Busker and perhaps some of the you know, the challenges and then also, you know, the successes, the wins that you had with recording Robert.
So one of the challenging things, like I was filming him in the park at night, so it's super dark and you can't set like any lighting equipment in Washington Square Park. So maybe like the beginning, the scene like of him singing is a little bit dark, and I don't think like everyone can fix that, but like I just want to show like everyone the like his style, like of his music. And also another challenging thing is that like he has a girlfriend. So like at the beginning, so like I filmed with him like a couple times, but like sometimes like if you want like film more intimacy moments, like I want to film like more about like his personal life with his girlfriend. But that's no. So that's another thing. And also like filming in the subway is that like I need to like commute with him. Like he lives in like very deep of Bushwick. So like every time like he commute to Washington Square Park, he needs to transfer like 3 times different subway lines. Yeah, it took like around 2 hours. So I just filmed him like in the train and like in the subway station, and a lot of people they're just like they're just like, oh, you're on my way. But like I just like want to like get a stable shot. But that's another challenging thing. But like Robert is amazing. And also like he's a very lovely guy. He always call you love. So I feel like he's kind of sweet. Yeah, I think that's it.
That's definitely the learning takeaway from your film. It's very challenging to record in the MTA.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the 2-hour journey also factoring in your commute after wherever you need to go is just a whole situation. It's guaranteed like 4 hours on the MTA that day. Congratulations, you did it. I'm happy that you accomplished it because wow, going on the MTA again, wow. Rohan, let's talk about your character. We got such a great close-up and portrait of his life. Any challenges that you were also experiencing when you were filming?
Yeah, like a big one. And it was kind of weird, but I had to it sort of made me understand him better actually, because I understood that he's, you know, like a moody guy. And I wanted that to sort of come out in the film as well. So, you know, he's talking like very seriously about his work, and his like facial expressions are very serious, and he's, you know, focusing on the process. So this happened when I had to interview him. um, I confirmed like the time on Sunday, saying that, hey, tomorrow 11 a.m. interview. And he said, yes, I look forward to it. I was like, okay, great, I'll see you. And I go there 11 a.m. and then he says, oh, I don't want to do the interview anymore. Yeah, and I go in with my camera and sound and everything, and he's like, I don't want to like do it. So I was like, uh-huh, interesting. So, and then basically I convinced him to give me an audio interview. So I didn't shoot the interview, but I just got like an audio interview with him, and that went on for like 2 hours. And But that sort of allowed me to have this voiceover style, um, which sort of helps you get into his head. So it became a lot more about what I actually wanted to say with the film. So it kind of worked out well for me. But yeah, it was pretty interesting because you would never imagine that at last minute they'd say no. But it also sort of, now it's like I'm prepared in for like future shoots with anyone.
That's what a unique
Yeah.
what a unique situation. You traveling all the way only for it to be like, no, I'm not interested. Well, I'm glad that you made through that, and then also the fact that the voiceover ended up becoming kind of what you wanted to get out of those interviews. So I guess everything does happen for a reason.
Yeah, I guess.
Alice, do you want to end us off? Obviously, you've mentioned a little bit at the top, your main character in your film actually was the guy with the glasses. So can you talk to us a little bit more about why do you want us to focus on him as a character compared to, the reason why folks are mourning there for Dr. Li Wenliang?
Actually, shooting a big event is such a challenge. So I had a second camera with me. We are two-man band. The reason I choose to stay with him after he was get out of the crowd is that I was very curious about why he is saying some words that against those people or trigger these people's anger, so they want to against him. So I tried to stay with him and interviewed him when he was getting out of the crowd. And apparently I got the interview I want. So yeah, that's
So it was
it.
by chance, essentially.
I can't say it's by chance because when he got out of the crowd, I know that I want to spend more time with him. So I choose to shoot another interview with him.
Well, I'm glad you did get to speak to him at the end of the day, because he obviously gave you the film that we see today, which is really interesting. And I think this brings me actually to my last question. What was, one lesson that you ended up learning while making your documentary? And most importantly, where can folks, find more of your work moving forward? Alice, let's start with you. What was one lesson that you learned? And then where can folks stay in touch with you? Where can they see your work in the future?
I found very fascinating I found a very fascinating thing when I'm making documentaries. You will be surprised always when you are shooting or editing a documentary film, because you can't predict everything in the future, and that's what documentary attracts me a lot. And about your second question, you mean how to?
Where can folks find your work? So is there a website or is there a social media page that folks can keep up with you?
Social media? I don't know. We'll see. I can say. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Yijia, no, thank you. Yijia, what are some lessons that you learned from making butts, and where can folks find your work?
In the past, we are taught to be objective when we tell a story, but through this film, I found we should be brave to let your voice out. You can, you should speak out your idea and take the full use of or like archives you can find. for my works, I will try to build up my own website. We will see.
Cool. Cathy, any lessons that you learned or where folks can find your work?
Yeah, I think for me, the main takeaway through making this film, one is a really personal. It's literally a healing process for myself. It's eventually let everything out and eventually try to allow people to understand me. But also something I really shocked me was because this film was totally a personal film. I really made it for myself. I wasn't going to show it at all. And eventually lands up here, which is really surprising. And I didn't expect it either. So what I also learned is sharing your own story is powerful. And be honest, be sincere, and be open. It's really a way not only to connect, but also to support people who are like you. Like you don't know them, but whoever come across your film will be inspired. And then that's something makes me wanted to keep doing documentary. Because I think that's really powerful thing to do. And also for my more my work. So right now I only have a page for my photography. If people are interested, they can check out on the Instagram. And it's the photo by Cat and the ZL. But at the same time, I will try to put out more of my videos and my documentaries on Vimeo, but I will keep updated on that.
That's so cool. And I think what you were saying about your film becoming, something for yourself and it actually going out to multiple people, obviously being at a festival. I think about what happens when you write for one person and how, or if you even write for a group of people like your friends and how that ends up translating to more folks
Right.
who you ever even thought. And so that's kind of my thought with your film, because clearly it's translated and it's gone further than what you thought you just needed, what other folks also need.
For sure.
Peipei, let us know a lesson that you learned while making My Little Ones, and then also where folks can find you.
So apparently I learned the process of how to make this little mouse taxidermy. That's the most surprising thing that I didn't really expect. Another thing that I learned is I just feel like in general making documentary and meeting people can make you learn something and just get to talk to them and then open your heart so that they will be collaborative and then they'll tell you their own story. So just be open is pretty much the only thing that the most efficient thing for me and the most important thing for me to do documentary. The way to find me is really simple. I have this website, the Vimeo website, and it's just called Peipei Zeng. So if you just type My Little Ones Peipei Zeng, that should pop up.
I love that. So simple, just the name. Hansen, what is one lesson you learned while making your film, and where can folks find your work?
As I told in the first time that this is my first true project, which we call it like City Symphony. We are assigned to shoot different places in New York City. And I think through this project, I really think that B-roll also tells story, and B-roll is real important because I was kind of doing like scouting like a place. And when I was doing it at the first time, I didn't think, oh, the B-roll can tell the story, or I can, use different shot to make a story. But when I was doing my feature doc, I really think that lesson helps me to, observe a city or a place, and you can find their story through different lens you shot from yeah. So well, for my website, actually I was building a website for my first feature doc, which is about a Chinese teacher in rural places in China helps a group of left behind children to get better education. So you can just, I'm also on Vimeo. You can just search my name, that you can find some clips about that if you want to, check it out a little bit. Yeah.
That feature sounds really cool. That sounds quite interesting. Can't wait to see that. Zooey, what was one lesson that you learned about making Busker, and where can folks find your work?
Actually, like Busker is a thesis season of my thesis film, so it's like one of my subjects. So, but but his part is kind of like super. I already finished his part, so it's kind of like another film. So, uh, what I learned like from making a documentary is that like first to be patient because it's a time consuming process. So you need to be patient and like whatever like they say they're gonna do something, then carry a camera and then follow up. And the second thing is like to be friends with your subjects. It's the like I have like that kind of like specialty to get along with them. So like we're still friends like with all of my subjects. So they'll like text me like once a while or something. So but like so I felt like just to be friends with them and you should like to get closer to them and then they will tell you like the more like intimate story about them or like something like they don't want other people to know but like if you tell them like something about yourself and then they'll like open their mind and talk to you like more things about them. So that's another lesson. And then this lesson is not what I learned from my film, but you have to always carry a tripod to get a steady shot. That's what we learned from our school. Yeah, and so and also what's the second question? Sorry.
Do you have a site or a social media page where folks can keep up with your work?
Oh, sorry. So you can like search me on Vimeo. So I've been like uploading my work like since the first year of our school. So just search my name, Zooey Zeng, and also yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Perfect. Rohan, talk to us about one lesson you've learned and also a site where people can find all of your work.
Sure. So one lesson I learned was that I think it's important to go with the flow of your character. I mean, go with the flow of just like everything happening while you're filming. Could take a couple of years, um, but just go with the flow. And I think it's very important to accept some things that, I mean, things like that, things always don't go your way. So that's very important. And you have to accept the fact, and once you accept the fact, you can sort of, it's like a puzzle, right? Like film. So you got to accept that things won't go your way and sort of turn the puzzle around and fix the pieces, basically. So that and I'd say there's no real place to sort of look at my stuff right now, but I hope that by April I come out with 2 short films. So that's the plan. But yeah, so I'm excited. Once that's out, I guess I can share it with you guys. But on Instagram, my handle is called Rohan S Rao. And you can just find me there and or like, yeah, sure.
That's awesome. I look forward to the 2 shorts that are coming out in April. And I want to say a greater thank you to all of the directors in this room for making time to being here today and take part in this conversation. I hope you all at home have had not only a lovely virtual festival thus far and enjoyed this program, but also are going to enjoy more films from our 2020 selection. From myself and all the team at Doc NYC, thank you all so much for being here today. And we hope you have a lovely rest of the time. Bye, y'all.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.